CNN's Don Lemon taking his insults against unvaccinated Americans to a whole new level.
I think we have to stop coddling people when it comes to this and the vaccine, saying, oh, you can't shame them. You can't call them stupid. You can't call them silly again. Yes, they are. The people who aided and abetted Trump are stupid because they believed his big lie. The people who are not getting vaccines, who are believing the lies on the internet instead of science, it's time to start shaming them. What else? Or leave them behind. Because they are keeping the majority of Americans behind.
Leave them behind where? And also, Greg, Republican voters who are not vaccinated are not the only ones who are not vaccinated.
Yeah,
that's what's so frustrating.
Well, I think it's frustrating because Don Lemon is extremely stupid, right? And he thinks that, like, by calling other people stupid, would he have the balls, for example, to call 44% of blacks stupid, right? He thinks that everybody's this amorphous, like, red hat-wearing group of people who live out in the sticks, when in fact there is a whole bunch of categories of people who are not vaccinated. One of them are people that are young and very fit and think that they can risk the virus. I know a few of those people. You have women who are either pregnant or want to get pregnant, and they have an extra layer of concern that other people don't have. You have blacks that are superstitious of any medical intervention from the government because, hey, Tuskegee. You have people that are immunocompromised. There are a whole sort of people. If you broke this all down, you would find that it's not just a bunch of stupid people. So, Mike, I think there's a reason why this is happening. Because there is a sensible alternative, which is letting people get vaxxed at the pace they decide to without bullying them, which is kind of what's happening. If people just like have conversations, like I talk about getting the vaccine with people who haven't, I tussle with skeptics, but I respect them, that's life, and I listen to their reasons. And a lot of their reasons do make sense. Like if they're worried about childbearing, that's fine. But they chose this easy target because it allows them to create another team sport oppositional kind of thing for cable news and for Joe Biden, so that you will not look at the other problems. So what did I used to say? If America fights among themselves, the people in power escape our collective wrath. That's what they're doing. If we were unified in anything, then we could focus on crime, homelessness, drug addiction, the border, Afghanistan. But as long as Joe Biden pits us against each other, that will distract them. And as long as CNN has this kind of like artificial battle to contend with, they might survive another year. But they are bleeding viewers because they don't have the us versus them, dichotomy anymore. Trump's not there. They can't pit Trump versus anti-Trumpers. They can't do right versus left because a lot of people on the left are leaving the left. So what they're trying to do is vax versus anti-vax, and that allows them to get up on their porch, perch, and call people stupid. And it's all it is to maintain a certain amount of power, keep the plebes busy.
No, but the way they're saying...
You weren't even listening, Judge.
I was nodding my head most of the time, and we made eye contact.
We did. I thought you were flirting.
Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now I'm going to lose my train of thought.
Are you cheating on me with him?
No, I'm cheating.
Wait, where's Harold?
What is going on? Okay, when they say that it was the vax versus the unvaxxed, he's turning the unvaxxed into Republicans.
Yes.
So he's continuing the left versus the Republicans. It's the smart people versus the Trump people. And that's just not the case, because in some of the studies, they say it's the most educated people who are resistant to getting the vaccine. In New York City, it is the minority community that is resistant to getting the vaccine. So if anybody's stupid here, it's Don Lemon, and maybe he ought to keep his mouth shut on that stuff if he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, he's an expert in stupidity.
Now, if I were president, Dana,
yes,
this is how I would handle it. First, I would thank the American people for my 50-state victory. It's quite an honor. And then I would focus less on the unvaxxed. I would focus more on the benefits of vaccines. I would say, Americans, you're always chasing the fountain of youth. We all want to live longer. We don't want to die young. You get a shot, you're going to live longer. And that's a fact. And I would say, hey, we're living normally. We're not wearing masks. We're doing our thing over here. Life is good. Come join us. That's the way to do it. Instead of shaming and calling people stupid, I would never call people stupid in this country. I would just quiz them on civics and put movie clips in the packet. That's how I would handle it. But Dana, to your point, Greg, we're making a lot of progress. 76% of the American people have gotten at least one shot.
Yeah.
In the summer, we were talking 50%, 60%. We're at 76%.
Right.
We should be actually kind of giving ourselves a pat on the back and then a jab in the arm, but a pat on the back. We're making progress. We don't need to start punishing Americans. We need to start punishing China. Say it, Richard. China. American people, we would support Joe Biden if he was more unifying here in this country. And hey, let's come together and say, let's punish China and make China pay, because Americans have paid enough.
But I wonder what is enough. I mean, is 80% enough? 90% enough? I mean, are they going to continue this? I mean, more variants are going to be coming in from other countries.
It shouldn't be about getting to 100%. It should be about, we got therapeutics, we got vaccines, we're going to live with it, and that's life.
But how do you deal with the misinformation, like the anecdotes that was put up by Nicki Minaj, right, which is a false anecdote, misinformation at its finest that impacted the globe, right? I mean, the health department of Trinidad had to stop what they were doing to correct fatal misinformation.
What did Nicki Minaj say, Richard?
I'm not going to repeat it.
What did she say?
I refuse
She
to
brought up
repeat
her cousin's friend's part of his anatomy that I will not mention here that swelled up due to it. And it brings up a really good point about assessing just any kind of anecdotal thing. You need a control group. Yeah. So if let's say you get the jab, 10 million people get the jab, and the next day 25 of them get in car accidents. Is that a correlation or causation? No, you have to look and see, find another group of 10 million and see what the rate of car accidents are among them. You might find that people gotten fewer car accidents. So the idea of, like, I've talked to a lot of people that self-report symptoms, and you go, you have to understand, those symptoms might have been their jab or not. You have to compare it to a control group of similar types. You also have to look at comorbidities. When a young person says, I still got it, you see that they're really, really obese, which the news never tells you the weight, which you have to ask yourself why that is. Why are they so quick to shame the unvaxxed? But when you're super fit, and you're unvaxxed, somehow you're shamed. But if somebody is obese, oh, you better not say anything.
Well, Greg, to be fair, now, to reference Nicki Minaj's tweet, if I was, I'm not a doctor, but I'm healthcare adjacent because of people in my life, right? If that were, if somebody walked into a doctor,
am I healthcare adjacent because I'm sitting next to someone who's healthcare?
No, you're healthcare adjacent. But if somebody walked into a doctor's office and they said, "Here are my symptoms," and I just took the COVID vaccine, I'm pretty sure they'd be like, "Well, let's take some STI tests before we say that."
No, that's exactly what would happen. Yeah, because
Okay.
It was right before a wedding. Clearly, he was at a bachelor party.
All right.